Sounds good.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy Flash from ALWT Gaming, aka Malachai36. I am here with Gravity-Mark 2 on a beautiful Sunday, April 18th, 2021. How are you doing today, good sir?
I'm doing pretty well, sir. How are you doing this fine Sunday?
I'm doing great. I got my Switch. Got that bad
Mm-hmm.
boy in play. We got some great things to talk about. We
Send me,
got Mugen
send me that
Train.
friend code.
Oh, most
Send
certainly.
me that friend code, man.
Yeah, which I had to figure out how to do, but I got you. I got you.
I'll help you get that started.
We got some animes to definitely talk about. Like I said, we got Mugen Train that's coming out this Thursday, I believe, and we're going to be watching that. And just a full disclosure for anyone that's currently watching this right now, today's episode is going to be a little differently, and one of the reasons why is that you're not going to see your comments on the left-hand side of the stream as we're live, because this is a recording. We're actually recording this right now because our boy over here got a wee bit of a promotion, so his schedule is a little bit different. And we're going to start moving all-day animes to Saturday nights. All right, so it's going to be 9:30 Eastern Standard Time to Saturday nights. We're going to do like a pilot test just to see how it goes, see how it flows, you know. This one that's going to be coming up this Saturday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time is going to be 30 minutes long to an hour long, roughly, because we're only going to be talking about the Mugen Train. So definitely looking for that. And anyone that doesn't know about the Mugen Train, that's Demon Slayer, and the Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
Yes, fantastic series, season one. Fantastic season one. Mugen Train is supposed to be bridging that gap between season one and season two. So very curious to see how that's going to pan out. Very excited.
Mm.
What are your expectations for that?
Oh, they're high, man. They are really high. Like, I don't know if, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know if is because like this the Kimetsu no Yaiba movie in Japan like broke records.
Yeah.
Like, it's at the top of like the Japanese box office. Like it's higher up there than Avatar, than Titanic.
Yep.
It's higher up there than Your Name. So like my expectations are very, very high. My question is gonna be like, it did it break these records because 2020 was kind of a slow year, and then they just didn't really have too many movies in Japan that came out? It's like, is that the reason why everyone was just like, oh my gosh, it's just a movie? The Demon Slayer is already really great. But I have a feeling that it's actually going to be really good. I really hope it's going to be really good. Regardless, I'm going to enjoy it no matter what. But I mean, as I'm sure you know, like the manga sales for Kimetsu no Yaiba in Japan were already like beating out One Piece in some months.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if that tells you anything, like people really liked Demon Slayer. So I'm really looking forward to it. I probably might actually try to, like, if I can find the time, like rewatch season one before I go into it, just so that way I can get like a fresh take on it, because like I haven't watched season one since like 2019. Like, it's been a while.
Yeah. Actually, I had the luxury of being able to kind of get refreshed for most of season one, because my wife actually just ended up watching the entire season probably a couple months ago, if that.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
So, and she's not even really big into anime like that, so for her to like it, like, that's like, she likes Rising of the Shield Hero, she likes Demon Slayer, she likes Sword Art Online. So there's like certain animes that she does like, but there's others where she's just like, I don't want to watch anime right now. So
completely understandable. And if anything, that I think that just speaks to Demon Slayer in general.
Yeah.
Like that, like just for the fact that like people who aren't necessarily super into anime can actually pick it up and enjoy the story that it's telling.
Yeah, definitely. I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, just the whole story of Tanjiro is just very amazing. And I mean, some of it's kind of predictable as far as like when the first episode, the way that's kind of pans out. But then everything else about it behind it is just great character development, great characters in general, amazing art style, great music. Like, everything about the show is fantastic. And I cannot wait for Mugen Train.
The art style for the manga is also really good too. Like the line work that they do, is very reminiscent, I think, of like older Japanese like paintings, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've actually picked up the manga, so I'll have to like go back and look at that. But I do remember the like even the art style for the manga is very unique.
Yeah.
So it's all around just a really good series, and I cannot wait for this movie. It's been far too long. You finish season 1, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, there's a train, and they're gonna be on it," and then they just can't. You don't know what happens on the train. I've been waiting since 2019.
Yeah.
And finally get on this train. Choo choo, let's go.
Yep. Now it's finally here. We're going full steam ahead, and we're not going to waste any more time because this is All Day Anime episode 15 with me and Gravity-Mark 2. If you guys are wanting to check out more of our stuff, make sure you guys are checking us out at alwtgaming.com. That's www.alwtgaming.com. You guys can also check us out on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, pretty much anything that's a social media platform. Just type in ALWT Gaming. If you can't find us on YouTube, type in At Least We Tried Gaming, because At Least We Tried. That's actually what ALWT Gaming stands for. And of course, we like to have fun. We like to have a good time. We like to stream. Of course, we also have our fellow streamers out there: Abs3315, Mildewy Carrot, It's the 9 Ball, Gravity-Mark. Is it Gravity MK2 on Twitch, right?
I believe so. I haven't been doing too much on Twitch lately, as you know. We got that slight promotion at work, so a big boy job.
Yeah. So what's up? Everyone can still give it a little follow. You know?
Oh yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
And then of course you guys, and pretty much that's going to be anything like www.twitch.tv/ALWT Gaming /Abs3315 /It's the 9 Ball /Mildewy Carrot, and he spells Mildewy MILDWY Carrot. And yes, that's all. We got all that good stuff. And of course, you guys already know I'm not drinking my Raise energy right now. Unfortunately, I only have a crush. But if you guys are like energy drinks or anything like that, make sure you guys are checking out Raise Energy from Rep Sports, REPPsports.com. Type in ALWT Gaming at checkout, get 15% off. That is 15% sign off. I think you guys are going to enjoy it because they got Galaxy Starburst. They got sour gummy worms. They got voodoo. They got all sorts of different stuff that's actually pretty good and pretty delicious.
What does voodoo taste like?
That one, it's interesting. That one was the one that I liked the least, but it was still good. You know, so the one I like the most is the guava mango. I love the guava mango. Baja Line is pretty delicious too as well. But yeah, no, the guava mango is where it's at. The Galaxy Starburst is where it's at. So yeah, and they got new flavors too.
Ooh, new flavors. Yeah, who doesn't like new flavors?
Yeah. I mean, I love new flavors, so. But guys, we actually kind of have the same list as last week, as they have new episodes that came out. First thing we want to talk about is Mushoku Tensei. So, for anyone that does not know about Mushoku Tensei, definitely highly recommend it. I don't know if it's on Crunchyroll, but it's definitely on Funimation. You guys definitely want to check that out.
You know what? Let me check really quick.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be, maybe.
As Gravity-Mark 2 is checking up that for you guys, I'm just going to give you guys a little plot line, a little back history to it. So there's a main character. He's in his 40s, mid-40s, late 40s, and he's a hermit. He literally stays inside the house, plays video games, never really goes out anywhere. Literally the jack-off king, like he is a perv. And pretty much a lot of stuff that you're okay. A lot of like when you meet this guy, you're like, all right, this guy's trash. He's terrible. This is disgusting. He ends up getting kicked out of his house. He's walking down the street. He sees these kids that's talking, not paying attention, about to get hit by a truck. He ends up saving them, but meets his demise on that. Next thing you know, he's reincarnated to a whole new world as a baby. But he has his intellect from him being 40 years old. So he's kind of has a intelligence advantage when it comes to being in that world. But the world that he's reincarnated in has magic and has different races, such as like demons and elves and stuff like that. And he's just trying to make his way through there. Turns out to find out later on in the later episodes, you find out that one of the reasons why he was a hermit in his past life is because he was bullied so horrifically when he was growing up. And it just had a huge impact on his life, and he's trying to change that in his second life. So that's Mushoku Tensei. Really think you guys are going to enjoy it. If you guys watch Wise Man's Grandchild, if you guys watch That Time I Got Reincarnated as Slime, same type of premise. As far as, again, living in one world, dying, going inside another world, and you become an OP. Kind of the same vein, but definitely recommended. Highly recommended.
Super good. It is so good. I still need to keep up with the manga because I'm still on the first volume. I've been having a lot of other stuff filling up my schedule lately, but so far I've got to say, for something that for somebody like me who usually is kind of like, oh, like the manga like usually does a little bit of a better job with the story. In this case, so far from what I've read, anime has blown it out of the water. Like the
Oh,
anime,
wow.
in my opinion, so far the anime has done a much better job than the manga. At least like from what I've read, the manga is on the 10th volume right now, so I'm only still on the first one. So I still have a lot more time to catch up to, because I'm pretty sure that at this point the manga is way past the anime. But honestly, like from what I've seen from the anime so far, the presentation of how they tell the story, the emotional aspects of the story, they just let the story breathe so well, and it does such a good job. I don't hear nearly enough people talking about it, so
Yeah.
please do yourself a favor. Find some time, find some quiet time, sit yourself down, put some headphones on, like just sit back, relax, watch some Mushoku Tensei, sub or dub, either one. Both of them are actually really, really good.
Mm.
So just do yourself a favor, like check the show out. It's really good.
Yeah, and Gravity-Mark was the one that actually put me onto it, so I was able to go ahead and try it out. See, there's like full disclosure and parental advisor, definitely nothing that you want to watch around your kids. There's definitely some, yeah, there's definitely some
Definitely not.
sexual reference that you definitely don't want them to learn at a young age as such, unless that's your way of trying to show them the difference between the birds and the bees. But yeah, but on that one though, again, moving forward, at this point, spoilers for Mushoku Tensei, Jujutsu Kaisen, and My Hero anime version. We're not going to talk about the manga. We're going to talk about the anime version that recently had just dropped over the weekend. Actually, a new episode of Mushoku Tensei dropped today. For the dub, I should say, because that's all I've been catching up on. I had for both Jujutsu Kaisen and Mushoku Tensei. So some of you guys that's been watching the sub, you guys are further than me. But the latest episode that's in the dub was Rudius was teaching Iris how to dance. It actually started off with her doing the combat training, and then right after that, they did their, because Rudius has a deal at this point to where he will teach Iris how to dance and everything, or how to do magic, and just teach her like certain elements like of math and science and stuff like that. In addition to that, he would get paid, but then he's also learning how to train with a pretty strong female warrior, and who's also underneath the tutelage of Rudius, that's trying to teach her as well. So he's teaching Iris and this female warrior at the same time. I can't remember what her name was, but both of them are being taught academics by him. So it's starting off because in retrospect, she's learning from him, but Rudius is also learning hand-to-hand combat from her. So and weapons, of course. And so it opens up with Iris getting really good at this sword combat against the teacher, the warrior teacher. Then it shifts gears. Then they start doing their academics with Rudius, and them getting a little frustrated that they're still getting some of the answers wrong. And then later on, it goes into another teacher who's a complete side character. I can't even really call her a side character, but she's a elevating character where she's trying to have Iris learn to dance. And one of the reasons why this is important, because Iris is about to turn 15 or 10. I think she's about to turn 10.
15? No, 10, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 10. 10, yeah.
Yeah, she's turning 10.
Yeah, because Rudius at this point is 8, and she's just barely older than Rudius. So, now, and the way that this world works is that they celebrate birthdays every 5 years. Every 5 years, and they make a whole ordeal about it and everything like that. And so in this case, in Iris's case, she's about to turn 10, and so she's going to be dancing at her party because they're having a big party for her, and it seems that it would be distasteful and not graceful if she wasn't able to dance well at her own party. And so the teacher's like really asking Rudius to kind of sacrifice a few of his lessons so that way Iris has more time to train. Rudius takes that opportunity and just like, listen, this is free time to myself. I could go read some books. I don't have to deal with this she devil. You know what I mean? Like that whole shebang. And then he ends up getting roped into helping her dance anyway. Just because she has that mentality where she doesn't want to do it. She runs from the teacher. Rudius talks some sense to her and even references his own past life, which is very conspicuous at this point. Like, she doesn't know that he's reincarnated or anything like that. But he's like referencing his past life, and he's able to get through to her on that. But then she's just like, all right, well, come on, I'm not dancing alone. So then through the whole episode, they're literally trying to dance or trying to get better. You see some progress, but it's still not like all the way there yet. And yeah, and then we get to the party. Now she's not dancing with Rudius anymore, and it's already awkward. Like, she's still kind of struggling. And that's where the discovery happens. So far, everything that we saw and everything I just talked about, what is your thoughts leading up to the party?
So I do like, again, like I've said this before, I love how they're really just letting the story breathe. They're giving the story enough time to just like feel like it kind of like a natural passing of time. And especially like with how I honestly love how Rudius like just tends to just spend his free time. Where because he still has the like his subconscious is still like that of his previous life. He's actually like at this point, like I think into his like closer to his 40s. I think at this point he's like mentally he's like in his late 30s, early 40s. So he's kind of like treating it like a video game where he's just like, okay, so like in order for me to like level up these things, like I need to do this and I need to do this and I need to do this. So I got to go read some books. I got to go like study this. I got to go practice this. So the fact that like they do like kind of have him like go out of his way to like help Ares like learn how to dance, it's kind of a nice little side thing. Now if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they're cousins, I think.
So yes, yeah,
like,
I mean, yeah, that's essentially what it is.
It's one of those things where it's just like and that's like just one of those things where you're just like, like, you know, if they weren't cousins, like I could definitely see this like actually being like much more of a better like kind of like potential romance kind of thing down the line.
Well, it still can. Honestly, it still can be.
It still can. I guess it still can, because like there is that, especially like when it comes to stories like this, there's a certain level of like disbelief that you have to suspend yourself to. Like you have to have that, like you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, just kind of just go with it, where you're just kind of like oh, like that's your cousin, like I don't know about that. But you're just like, okay, hold on, well maybe this world it's fine, like I don't know, like this world has magic in it, so maybe like do like stuff with your cousin is fine in this world. I don't know. I still think it's weird. I'm still just kind of like about it, but there's a level of like where you have to just suspend your disbelief and just kind of go with it, just that way you don't think about it too much.
Well, even
because when you allow yourself to just watch it and enjoy it, like it's much better.
But even in reference to that, like that seems to be more of a Japanese culture type thing, to where if you're cousins, you're not really truly related, because they do the same thing in Sword Art. Like you're related, but it's not like brother and sister bad, because Sugua has a crush on Kazuto, and they're like, oh no, we're brother and sister. She's like, no, we're not, or whatever. Like there's something there. I don't know if it's like sworn cousins, to where like they're not really related and they just call each other brother and call each other cousins and sisters, whatever the case is. That part's still kind of a little iffy to me as far as how the actual family tree goes inside Japan. But that seems to be something that's inside the writing that I've been noticing a lot of in Japanese animes and mangas and stuff.
Yeah, like if memory serves, because I think I actually looked into this once like years ago. If memory serves, it's still kind of like looked as like in Japan. Like I think like even to like Japan, like they're still kind of like, that's your what? Why? That's your cousin. Like don't do that. Like I think it's still frowned upon over there, and it's still kind of like like, but I think like in terms of story writing, I think I guess it's kind of like a little looser. Uh, Again, I don't fully understand that. I'm still trying to learn Japanese. I'm still trying to learn the Japanese culture in general, just because I find it very fascinating. But in terms of that, that's something that like I still think that they're even Japanese people themselves are still kind of just like I don't know about that. But
Mm,
again, I don't know. I'd have to actually ask like people from Japan to actually see what their opinions are on that.
mm,
But even like just kind of like taking that out, like you could even watch this from the perspective of not necessarily that he's it's a romantic thing. It's more of a hey, like I'm just helping out my cousin. But the other thing is that like biologically they would be related, but this guy is also like he still has his like mentality from from his previous life.
yeah.
So I guess he kind of sees himself as like maybe not like I guess spiritually related to this person.
Mm.
'Cause I think it's her dad is his like biological uncle. So I think that's what it is. Regardless, regardless, getting back on topic, I thought it was cute. I thought it was a nice thing to do where like like where she's super talented with her sword skills, not very talented with her academic skills, but she's getting better. And she's not very good with magic. But this is like something that like she's struggling with, something that she's embarrassed by, and it was kind of nice to just kind of see him be like, you know what, sure, let me help, like let me help you do this, let me just help you learn this too, because he's being that teacher for her,
Mm.
where like a lot of the times in anime you see kind of like this lead male like protagonist who just acts a little bit more mature for his age, and then just kind of like ends up falling into that later category, whereas this guy, he only really has that confidence because again he still has that subconscious that he had from his previous life. So he's, yeah, and subconsciously he's like in his late 30s early 40s, but like physically he's only like I don't know, like 8 at this point, I think 7 or 8. So like
Mm.
he's still really young, but yeah, but like he's able to like kind of see the world from a little bit more of a mature perspective without having to be like, oh, he's just mature for his age. It's like, well, yeah, like he's mature for his age because he has this mind, he has his mind from when he's in his late 30s early 40s. But I just thought the symbolism was nice. I thought it was cute that he's kind of like going out of his way to, he's only obligated to really help her with like her magic and her academics.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's kind of like being like, you know what, like fine, like I'll help you with this too. Like it kind of shows that like he actually cares about her on a level that's not that's more than just a teacher, and I think that's kind of neat.
A few things I thought was kind of cool too as well, because of course you guys already know that if you guys look at this video right now, you got on YouTube, that is, you guys will see that the thumbnail is Sylph doing magic and with our logo and all that good stuff. But as I was looking for that particular thumbnail that I wanted to try to create it, I came across some art that looked kind of official. But I came across some art that looked like that you might actually see Rudius as like a teen, like a older teen. It was kind of cool. And you saw Paul there, you saw him, and I think it was either Sylph or you saw Rudius's mom. So very curious stuff there. Not exactly sure where the story is going to go concerning, like, again, seeing the age of him. And I keep referencing that because you see him as a baby, then you see him slightly older, now you see him at an 8-year-old, but that's the thumbnails of the entire anime, is that you see Rudius as an 8-year-old, and I don't see him getting any older than that by just the thumbnail that's on Funimation. I'm kind of curious to see how Rudius will get older, how he will look, how he will act. Will he end up being with Sylph? Like, will that be his true love inside this world? Or will he end up finding Roxy? Will he settle and cave for Iris? I don't know. That was one. And then two, oh, you're muted, by the way.
Sorry, that's right. My bad.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that. No, don't settle. Don't settle, Rudius. Don't do it. You have options. You have options. You have Sylphiette. You have Roxy. Roxy. Oh, with Roxy. Do it, my man. Roxanne. Like, you gotta do it. Like, it's and that's the thing. Like, especially with series like this, like especially like with how I tend to like consume media. I'll either more often than not, like what I'll typically do is I'll find a manga that I like and then find out that they have an anime and be like, oh cool, I'll watch the anime. Lately I've been doing the opposite of that, where I've been watching a lot of anime on Crunchyroll or in Funimation, and then if it's a really good anime, I'm like, oh, do they have a manga? And I'm like, ooh, they do have a manga. And so at the very least, like with what I have like the first 4 volumes right there, ready for me to go. So like if that tells you anything about the series and how much, like how good it is, how like I'm willing to put money into finding out more about the story. Like it's that good of a series. So better end up with Roxy, I swear.
I wouldn't mind it being with Sylvius.
Like I wouldn't mind that either. Like to be honest, I wouldn't mind it. Like it is really one of those stories that like even just seeing some of the covers, because I think I know what picture you're referencing, because I think it's a cover art for one of the later manga volumes where it does show him as being a little bit older. It shows Sylphiette being a little bit older, so like they could easily be like in their mid-teens or so. And I honestly really like the fact that they're actually like showing him slowly grow up. And I like that they kind of just like allowing the story to just kind of progress. And I know I've said this before about the series, but I'll say it again for those who haven't heard. In a lot of isekais, a lot of the time when they're reincarnated, there's like a specific reason they were reincarnated. There's this big overarching like goal that they have to achieve. Like when you look at Rising of the Shield Hero, the entire reason he was reincarnated over there was specifically to kind of like to stop, what was it? The
waves of the catastrophe.
The waves of catastrophe. Like that was the whole reason for him, like kind of like being summoned over there. And even if they don't know specifically why they were summoned over there, there's usually like some big calamity event that somehow only they can stop. And the only isekai, even like in my recent memory that I'm aware of, that kind of don't necessarily follow that trope are that time I got reincarnated as a slime and Mushoku Tensei. And it is, I've got to say, it is a breath of fresh air, because it doesn't feel like the story is like rushing towards anything. Like it doesn't feel like the story is rushing towards, an arc per se, like where like Dragon Ball, it's calamity after calamity after calamity after calamity. Whereas with Mushoku Tensei, they're just kind of like doing their thing. They're just doing their thing. They're living their daily life. And then, like something I guess like may happen down the line. I'm not sure. I'm only up till I've watched all the way through the sub, so I kind of know what's a little bit farther ahead. But in terms of like what they're showing right now, they're really doing a really good job with everything so far.
What do you think about Iris's mom? Because she obviously does not favor Rudius at this point in time, and I'm just kind of curious to see why that is. Is it because he's Paul's son? Like, did they have a thing? Because Paul's been around the block several times.
So I think that's actually it, if I'm not mistaken.
So?
So yeah, because I don't know if they explained that in this episode or if it was maybe in like one of the other episodes. I think she was actually like supposed to be betrothed to Paul.
Oh.
And if you recall, Paul had a falling out with his father. He ended up running away with his adventurer pal, who he ends up marrying.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually ends up cheating on.
Yeah.
Paul. Like, I swear, like, Paul, like, dude, Paul, like he does, like, he'll do something really cool, and then he'll just do something real scummy, and you're like, come on, Paul.
Yeah, and literally, like, the whole time,
get together.
The whole time, like, I was like, all right, this guy's trying to be a good father. He is a good man, and then he ends up cheating, And like, of course, he has those like there's some more areas to where it's just like he'll talk about, like, for example, it's no longer just talk. Like, he ends up cheating and he succumbed to the trap. And then when Rudius was going to go to Iris's estate now, then he ends up inside the note saying, "Keep your hands off her, she's mine," like to the big breasted warrior. And so she's just like, "Do me a favor, send that on over to your mother." like I don't know. I still think that Paul's intentions are good. He just has really crummy moments that he just cannot, for some reason, overcome. He really just can't.
He seems, if anything, and this is actually something I find interesting, is that he almost seems like kind of like a sequel follow-up to what a standard anime protagonist like would be. Mm-hmm. where they especially like in a harem series, like where they just have like all these different like all these other different partners that are like trying to like kind of like hop on him. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of feels like, it almost seems like what happens after the main story is done, or like now he's started a family, like because the thing is that with Paul's backstory, like he's done a lot. Like he's traveled the world. He was an adventurer. He was a hunter. He had an adventurer party. Mm-hmm. The beast woman that has like the gigantic chest, and that he said with the scars. I think she's like a high level like swordsman.
Yeah.
But like she was in his adventuring party. His wife was in his adventuring party. So it's like he's already had very close bonds and ties with these people. And there's so much like implied backstory to the events that happened with them, that it's almost like you could actually make an entire second series just based on what happened to them.
Yeah.
And so it really does, at least to me, kind of feel like this show is kind of like it feels like almost like a follow-up to whatever happened with him, which is kind of like why he's just like, oh yeah, hands off them, hands off her,
yeah.
Keep your hands off her.
It's like, and to be honest,
come on, man.
And to be completely honest with you, 90% of these animes that's being written that have harems in it, like the guy is always oblivious. There's maybe one girl that he actually loves, but the guy's always oblivious. He's always flustered when they try to hit on him and stuff like that. There's these opportunities, but they never take it. That's not realistic. Majority of the guys out there would, if these girls are throwing themselves at you, would take it. And that's what Paul's been doing. So now, granted, it's unfortunate that he's married and he did that while he was married. But yeah, but I mean, like I think you hit the nail right on the head. I think this is actually what would actually be happening in a harems type setting in that world or whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So. I don't know. Yeah,
because it kind of speaks to Rudius's character as well, because he still, again, like is mentally his previous life self. Mm-hmm. He is kind of that horn dog. He is still kind of like that regular guy at heart.
Yeah.
But like in a lot of ways, you see a lot of similarities between him and his father.
Yeah.
Because biologically they are the same. But even though like he's kind of like coming from a place where he's essentially a different person, he's had a whole different life. It's kind of like they are kind of father like son.
Yeah. Very interesting stuff, and I can't wait to see what more of today's episode is going to have with that. But we also can't wait to see what's going to happen this Friday with Jujutsu Kaisen, as we know that the barrier is broken, as we saw Gojo go all the way off, as we saw. Mm-hmm. The freaking special grade takeoff with one of Sukuna's fingers. What is going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do we think that one Roots special grade demon? Do we know if she's alive? Do you think that she's alive, or do you think that she's dead?
So that special grade demon is still alive.
Okay.
I will say that special grade demon definitely like got rocked from that fight. So it's definitely weak, and it's at this point, like I'm pretty sure it's going to be taking some time for it to recover. But my man Gojo, let me tell you, just like descending from the sky like a freaking deity, just mixing different techniques and just completely like the trench that he made with that blast.
Yeah, dude. That was straight up Shen Wolford from Wise Man's Grandchild. We put a great crater in the mountainside. That legit was like the same thing.
Do you remember like what the name of like that attack was?
No.
It was. Oh, hold on. I gotta look this up.
Yeah, because he was mixing. Yeah, like you said, he's mixing it in. Itadori was about to go in, and then Toto was like, "Stop! You'll get caught in the crossfire." And then,
It's called Purple Hollow.
Purple Hollow, nice.
Yeah,
yeah. That makes yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, and to me, like that also speaks to Toto as well, because like Toto like didn't even like see him. He's just like, hey, I'll like stand over here. You might want to get out of the way a little bit. It to me, like I love that kind of foreshadowing, like because to me, what that shows is that even though like, because like Toto has even said like in terms of like pure physical strength, Itadori is still much stronger than him.
Mm.
But in terms of like cursed energy, nowhere near. Because Toto like has his special ability, which by the way, let me just say this. I love his ability. I absolutely love his ability where it's just like where they're just running, all of a sudden he's just like I love it. And they switch places, and then then when he clapped, and then the cursed spirit like thought they were gonna switch. He's like, "What? Like I just clapped." It's like just because I clapped doesn't mean like we switch places. Like I choose when to do that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Like I love it. Like because like it to me like it's also kind of a goofy ability too. Like it's a super sweet ability, but the fact that he activates it by clapping. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like a little flamboyant like when he does it, where he's just like I'm like, oh, yeah. He's like kind of like doing it like that. It brings a lot of personality to his character, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And again, like the fact that he's able to take on special grade demons, like even when he's in high school, and he's able to perceive like Gojo's like abilities like right there. Maybe he's seen Gojo do some stuff in the past, or maybe he's just able to sense his cursed energy. It's like, hey, you might want to go over here. It kind of like still leaves all of like this huge gap of like how strong actually is Toto. Like if Toto like really tried, like could he actually get up there? And is there even still room for Toto to grow as well? Because I'm sure there is. I'm sure that we're going to be seeing like especially like with anime like this, we tend to see them like kind of like get their stage 1 moves, and eventually they kind of like level up and get like a stage 2 kind of move. So I'm sure like we'll start to see stuff like that in the future. But so far, like the Black Lightning, super sweet.
Yep.
Toto's special curse technique of being able to switch places, absolutely amazing. And Gojo's Purple Hollow was absolutely. I love that we got a little taste of Gojo. I love because the whole thing, the entire reason why they had this barrier up was to stop Gojo.
Yep.
They had an elder there, the principal of the Kyoto branch, that old man with the guitar. Like they had him there, and they're like, oh, we're not worried about you. It's like we're not worried about you or you or you, who's like really high up there in ranking and power. We're worried about that guy over there that you keep scoffing at, because and rightfully so. Like they show off, like Gojo shows off just how powerful he is, because like this entire time we've really seen him just mess around. Like even when he was like doing that 10-second fight with Sukuna, like right near the very beginning of the series, he was just goofing. He was just having fun. He wasn't taking that seriously at all. And then the moment we see him take anything remotely seriously, he's just like, cool. I'm gonna mix 2 of my techniques, make Purple Hollow, and I'm just gonna blast away everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to just like incinerate it, and it's
yeah.
And that's the thing though too, is that he did that with such ease. Like we saw him like actually take it seriously, but he did it with such ease
I don't know if he even
that
took it
it's still
seriously,
just like
because at the end he's just like, I did
he was mad.
it.
Yeah, like and honestly, I think that's really why I'm really gravitating towards Jujutsu Kaisen, is that what because we get to see a lot of really great fight scenes. We get to see a lot of really great characters, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of really great story plots, like character arcs. Um, but at the end of the day, like a lot of the characters just don't take anything too seriously,
Mm-hmm.
and and just depending on like where you are, sometimes like that's kind of a breath of fresh air. Especially like it's kind of like just like a different flavor, if you will. Because like you have Attack on Titan, and Attack on Titan is just serious, 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 serious. But like this, but Jujutsu Kaisen like will kind of like have like comedy, 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 serious, serious, comedy, comedy, serious, serious. Like they do like really a good job of like interlaying the comedy where it needs to be, and because and at least for me, because they have these comedic moments, it downplays kind of like what kind of like downplays a little bit what they're doing, but at the same time, it shows like these characters are just they're not even taking themselves seriously.
Yeah.
Like they're not taking the moment seriously. They're not taking themselves very seriously, which begs the question: when they actually do start to take things seriously, what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
What are they gonna do? Like what does Gojo going all out actually look like?
Yeah.
Like when he's got his back against the wall and he's giving it everything he's got. How crazy does that look? Because if anything, I'm thinking of that scene from Broly movie where they end up breaking reality and they start fighting like in between like space time.
Mm.
I'm just where like that's at least like what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and I agree.
But
Go ahead.
oh no, I was actually gonna say like what did you think of this fight with the special grade demon?
All
Like, what
I
did you think of
know,
its ability,
yeah,
its story?
yeah, dude. All I can say and all I know is that when you enter the scene, and the first thing you're like is just like, well, I could go over there and help them out. I could go over there. When you're assessing the field, you're essentially assessing the field, and not in any like because normally in animes like this, when when you have a strong character be at the scene, he's rushing to one area to literally like try to protect his comrades. And that's not what Gojo's doing. He's like, all right, well, let me assess the situation. Let me see what's going on out here. Okay, we got them over there. Looks like they can handle that. Okay, we got this guy over here. Okay, let's go over there. And he went ahead, destroyed a guy in like a couple seconds. I can't even say a couple seconds. It was like 1 second. And as he was doing it, the principal had to be like, don't kill him. Like, don't kill him. And he didn't. He just chopped off all his limbs. He put him in critical state. Did that. And then he's just like, oh, looks like these guys over here that sense their curse energy, they're gone. So it looks like this special grade is mine. Like literally, Gojo is on the freaking hunt. And that has to be one of the dopest things I've seen in a very long time. So yeah, very excited. Very, very, very excited for what this show has to offer. I'm very curious to see how strong Sukuna is when because that's going to happen. He's going to eventually come on out, and he's going to be literally like the strongest special grade that's ever existed. I'm just kind of curious to see what that's going to look like.
Because like at this point, how many fingers has he eaten? Is it like 6? Or, like I don't think it's 6. I think it's like 2 or 3 or 4.
Well, so Itadori has no more than 3 in him.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like I think he has like only like 3 or 4 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I think it's probably closer to 3, but they even say like his like Sukuna's power just keeps scaling up the more fingers he consumes, and because like Sukuna's like not the king of curses for nothing.
Yeah,
like these like even these like special grade demons, especially the one with the patchwork face. I can't remember his name, but he like even he just accidentally like touched Sukuna's soul, and Sukuna like was like nope.
Yeah,
You're not gonna do that.
Yeah, he's like, I told you not to touch me. Yeah.
I gave you a warning. So like just going off of that alone is like how powerful is Sukuna.
Exactly.
And gosh. And that's a lot of the times like that's just kind of like what shonen series are just in general is just how powerful is this character? How strong are they?
Mm-hmm.
And like it's and like those shows are fun. They're fun to watch. Uh and I can't wait to see it. But yeah, but stealing the finger too. That was another thing that like I wasn't even thinking about because that was something that was actually going on like unbeknownst to everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know fully what the demons are planning, what they're plotting, because that was actually not what I was expecting their agenda to be, was to be going after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. Very curious to see what they're going to have with that, and I, for one, cannot wait. Um, which actually brings us to our last topic that what we want to talk about today: My Hero Academia. So, the first, the Class A and Class B are going head to head. One class is being the villains. One class is being sorry. One class is the villains. One class is the heroes. And right now their goal is to try to capture each person on each side and put them in their own jail. Whoever has the most inside their jail wins. So round one is over. Class A won. They both realize that they have a lot to learn and from each other and everything like that, and how much growth that they really need to have. I will say, Kamari had surprised me. Kaminari or whatever his name is, he surprised me because normally he's the airhead, but he thought this through. Like after Froppy, after Froppy had put her mucus on both of her comrades that were remaining, because all that was left at this point was the guy that has the shell bullets. He was existing. The
He was existing.
Yeah, I can't remember.
He was just existing.
Yeah, yeah, he was out there. The guy that had the shell bullets, the guy that could go into the beast mode, pretty much. He was there, and then the girl that had the vine hair. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. She placed like kind of high in the I think it was like the spring festival, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Like one of the previous seasons, like season 2, like she placed pretty high. So she's definitely like somebody who's not to be trifled with. Like she is very strong, and even going up, but like actually like having her going up against Kaminari was like the fact that he actually had a plan going into that was really interesting to see.
Yeah.
And yeah, because like you said, like he usually is an airhead, and this for me, like right here, like this in the story from what I've read in the manga and what I've seen in the anime so far, it's really a turning point for a lot of these characters, where a lot of them start to rapidly grow and mature, and actually like get better, especially like from Kaminari, like that from what we've seen from him. We've seen like gradual growth and progression, because even when during the provisional license exam, he actually like got himself some tech on his arm where he just shoots little discs to be able to like connect his lightning.
Yeah.
That way, like he can actually like, instead of just shooting it out everywhere, like he can actually like point to where he wants it to kind of go. And I love seeing that. I will say it was around this time where I actually really started to like Koji, the animal guy, not the beast guy, but like the person who can talk to animals.
To the animals, yeah.
Because like that was a character that again like has been, he's been silent for a lot of the time. He very seldomly talks, and I kind of like the fact that they have this character that easily could have been a throwaway character. He kind of is a little bit, but they're giving him some personality. Where he's like, oh, come on, my friends. Like he's just this very like innocent kid who's just like, come on, my friends, and he's just calling a bunch of insects to like just go like mess this person up. Like he'll call insects. He can call animals of all different types, and I love the way that this series can take a bunch of like really random superpowers where it's just like random different mutations in people's genetics where he can just talk to animals and he just looks funny, but he can actually do like some like pretty useful things with it. And I like them taking these abilities and especially like highlighting abilities that like might not be super, like they're not as like flashy as One for All. They're not as flashy as Bakugo's explosion quirk. They're not as flashy as Shoto's like half fire, half ice quirk. But they're showing that like even with these like really weird quirks, that they can still be useful characters. And even like with Koji, like where he can just talk to animals, I'm like, you know what? Like you're keeping up with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's actually keeping up. Like he's actually doing something helpful. He's at, like they're actually like finding a role for him to do, and it's not just like and he's there. Like he's actually like doing something. But I also gotta say, my man Red Riot, like he's breaking out his unbreakable form again in this episode.
Yeah.
Like I love the development that they've done with him, and I always say this, I can't wait to see where it goes, because like again, I'm caught up with the manga, but in terms of the anime, I'm loving this so far. Like it has been really good.
What do you think well, I know you're ahead in the manga and everything like that, but who do you think is going to be the next fight? Well, actually, you can. All right. So since you already know that, don't tell us who wins, but who is the next fight if you remember off the top of your head?
That's actually a really good question. I actually haven't read this part of the manga since. Honestly, like, it's probably been like maybe 2 years or so.
Oh man!
Like it's been. I think it's been like since like 2019, if not 2018. Like I'm pretty sure. No, it's probably like 2019, like mid to late 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I can check to see when those chapters came out for reference. But it's regardless. It's actually been quite a while since I've read this part of the manga, so I'm not quite sure where exactly or like who exactly is coming up next. I do know that it is really exciting, and I really do enjoy the fights that they have. Even the guy who, and excuse me, I cannot remember names to save my life, but the guy with the voice control.
Oh yeah.
He can kind of like he can kind of mind control people like when they answer his questions. Like this was I think his first exhibition out of the two that they're having him do, and like it even shows that like he's worked so hard to get to where he's at, and it shows that like he tried to handle the beast guy by himself, and he got a little overpowered. Like he was a little too, he got a little too confident. He got a little too into it, and then you see Froppy kind of like come in and kind of save the day, and if anything, it kind of speaks to just kind of like the gap in experience that S1A has versus this character who's just been in regular school classes.
You don't think that was planned, where he was antagonizing the beast guy, knowing that he would come at him hardcore, and then Froppy was going to be right there behind him?
I think that might have been planned, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, and that's another. And again, that kind of just goes back to the fact that with this story writing, they do a really great job of finding roles for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Where they really kind of are just like, all right, well, tail guy. You gotta have a talk, tail guy. You're not very strong. Like you just have a tail that you smack people with. So we're not there's not too much we can have you do except things where you can smack people with your tail, but you can help escort people out of a dangerous zone. You can help smack things out of the way with your tail. Like even the guy with the like even like the guy with the like all like the limbs that can kind of like turn into like different sensory organs at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that guy's jacked.
Yeah.
Like that guy is jacked, and like part of me has kind of been like, oh man, like is he gonna end up like being like changing those out for like fists and just beating the heck out of people? No, like that's not his thing. He is jacked, but like his skill set is based on being able to intercept information and interpret information and gather information very quickly to be able to share with his comrades.
Yeah.
But I again, I really like what they're doing, and these exhibition arcs do a good job of highlighting the characters' progress against one another, because they really do start to highlight Class 1B's story with this too, and that's something that like they really haven't like focused on Class 1B. Every time they kind of show Class 1B, they really show how far they're lagging behind Class 1A, because Class 1A just keeps getting thrown into all of these like dangerous like death situations. And so they're like, oh yeah, I've almost died a couple times. Like, I'm good. I got this. Whereas Class 1B is just kind of like, wait, what? You've almost died. We've only practiced this.
We were in study hall.
we were in study hall. You were being kidnapped? What?
Mm-hmm.
How? Like, we only read about what to do in this. Like, we don't know. But even with these exhibitions, you're seeing just how far these characters are how far these characters have come. Where they're like, you know what? We know that you guys have more experience, but we're not going to let that get in our way. We're going to persevere, and we're going to show you that we can whoop you if we want to. And in a couple cases they do. Like they do win a couple times throughout this arc, and it's fun to see. It's fun to see because it shows the growth of Class 1B, but it's also a very humbling experience for those members of Class 1A, where they're just like, you know what? I can't get too full of myself. I have to just make sure that I focus on what I can do to improve. And like I've said before, definitely pay attention when Deku's group comes in.
Oh yeah, I'm going to
Deku's group comes in. When Deku's group comes in, pay attention, because there was something I said to Abs the other day that if I had enough time, I could really make this argument, which it's a very loose argument. It's not very based in set. Like, but I will say this: with where the manga is right now, I think Deku could give All Might a run for his money.
Really? Huh.
I think with where the manga is right now, I think Deku could give All Might himself a run for his money. With that said, it's still All Might. Like the favor's still in All Might's, corner. He has a lot more experience. He has a lot more control over One for All. But Deku has picked up some tricks along the way that, in my eyes, I would say that there's some things that Deku can do now that I will say is pretty interesting. So, and this is actually the arc where this arc is the catalyst for all of that change and all of the stuff that he's going to be, all the growth that he's about to be doing. So, pay attention to what's going to happen, like when he comes in, because it's going down.
You piqued my interest. I was already interested before, but you piqued it. You piqued it even more. All right.
Gotta raise energy, raise the bar.
Raise it up. Type of that
that's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta raise the bar somehow. Every day. Raise energy. Find a way to raise the bar.
And that actually does it here for our topics for the day. Mushoku Tensei, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia. Most of you guys are probably watching My Hero, but if you guys are not hip to Jujutsu Kaisen or Mushoku Tensei, highly, highly, highly recommend it. Make sure you guys check it out. They both could be found on, Funimation for sure. But Jujutsu Kaisen, I think, is only on Crunchyroll. I don't think Jujutsu Kaisen's on Funimation.
It's not on Funimation. It is also on HBO Max, but I will say Crunchyroll has a lot more options in terms of episodes. Because I think in terms of episodes, uh, HBO Max only has like up to where the dub is, whereas Crunchyroll has all of the dubs. They have the OG Japanese, they have the English. I think they have like a couple other languages, if I'm not mistaken, on there.
Mm.
So Crunchyroll, definitely check it out on Crunchyroll.
Did you ever find out if Mushoku Tensei was on Crunchyroll?
It is not. It is only, from what I've seen, only on Funimation. So definitely hop over to Funimation, check it out. You said was it episode 6 or 7 that just aired? That's just premiering.
I'm going to take a look at it
in the dub.
I'm going to take a look at it right now. It should be today. Should be episode 7, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see.
Okay.
Let me see. So last episode I watched.
Yes.
All right. So it's so this will be 8. Wait. Let me see. What lies?
Ooh.
Is this really?
All right. All right.
8? Oh, I'm about to find out.
They're catching up. Okay. Yeah, because the sub is only up to episode 11, which is
there we go.
It's a weird number, which again is a weird number to end on. But they're taking, it's from what I've seen, they're taking kind of like a mid-season break. They're gonna come back, I think, sometime in the fall or winter, if I'm not mistaken. So it's definitely something that you have plenty of time to catch up on it, plenty of time to enjoy it, and if you enjoy it enough, you can watch it in both sub and dub. Both performances are actually really, really good. And there aren't too many series that I actually will go back and I will watch both the sub and the dub. Mm-hmm. And so far, Mushoku Tensei is one of those series.
So there are 7 episodes into Mushoku Tensei. At some point today, the English should be coming out for episode 8, which is Turning Point 1. And then after that, there's only 3 more episodes of Mushoku Tensei for the dub version that should be coming out, and then we should be good to go. But right now, it's supposed to be Turning Point season 1 should be the one where it comes out as far as episode 8 Turning Point for Mushoku Tensei. If you guys are wanting to watch the dub and don't like reading subtitles, but yeah, so again, recapping: Funimation, Mushoku Tensei, Crunchyroll, Jujutsu Kaisen, both My Hero Academia. But it wouldn't be right if we just ended it right there. We have a hidden gems for you guys, and some of you guys might actually remember this from the past. This is a little blast from the past. The hidden gem that we have for today, in case you guys have forgot about this or have yet to actually check it out on Netflix, is The Devil is a Part-Timer. So I absolutely adore this one. It was actually recommended to me from a former coworker of mine, and I checked it out. It's one of, I'm not usually the type for comedic, like that's really heart heavy on comedy for anime, because I feel like at times if they try a little too hard and it's just like tried too hard to be funny, it's not really funny. It's just maybe some points would be funny, but it's not like, I don't know, like that always annoyed me. This one kind of falls in that genre, but it is actually done right and it feels good and it's hilarious. So on this one, the devil's a part-timer. The demon lord Satan seeks to conquer the world of Inta Isla by annexing its 4 continent with the help of his demon general Alciel, Lucifer, Malachota, and Aldramech. After being confronted by the hero Emilia and her companions after they had killed Malachota and Aldramech, Satan and Alciel escape the world of Inta Isla through a gate to modern Tokyo, Japan. However, due to the lack of magic in the modern contemporary world, both Satan and Alciel change into forms representing what they would look like if they were humans. In order to survive, Satan takes a part-time job in a fast food restaurant named McDonald's. Obviously, they can't say McDonald's, so McDonald's, while Alciel serves as his houseman. One day, Satan, who now goes by Sadao Mao, meets a girl who actually is Emilia in the form of Emi Yusa. The story then unfolds and explores the personalities of each of the characters and their moral values. More characters show up from Inta Isla as they too face the world dilemmas, often comically. And I also one of the reasons why I did that here is because, one, I feel like this is slept on anime for sure, and then 2, for anyone that does not know, at the beginning of this year, they actually announced that there's going to be a season 2 of this. So very exciting stuff, especially for anyone that's interested in the anime. You guys are gonna see a little bit of editing here as I pull up the trailer, so that way you guys can watch that as well. So just give me a hot second. But what does this news do for you though, Gravity? So far, what's your thought? What's your hype level at?
So I'll actually say this. This is actually a show that you hit the nail on the head. I actually slept on this show a lot. I'm kind of the same way with you. Sometimes like when it comes to like kind of like gag manga or like gag series, like comedy series in general with anime, because I'm a Shonen Jump boy. Like I grew up with a lot of Shonen series, like from Toonami. I grew up, just watching a lot of action. Like later, kind of getting into like more like stuff that's more suspenseful. Like I've seen like a couple horror stuff. Like lately, I've been watching like a few. Like I've been kind of getting into a few like romance series, which, like honestly, like just expanding my range of like what I consume. I've only been nothing but pleased with what I've seen, and like just even going off of just this trailer that you pulled up over here, I actually was watching it like oh, I could. This looks fun. This looks fun, and that's another thing is like sometimes like depending on like what you're in the mood for, like sometimes like you want that like that Attack on Titan, that like that heavy story where you're just engrossed in it. Sometimes you just want to watch a story and just have fun with it. Like you just don't want to like take it too seriously. You just want to like just enjoy the story that they're telling, and this definitely looks like a series that you could absolutely just enjoy what they're telling.
Yeah.
And I want to see it work with McDonald's.
For anyone that's currently watching listening to this right now, I'm actually playing the video right now, but it's muted because of course copyright claims. I'm actually playing it on our YouTube channel. If you guys would go ahead and check it out there, or if you guys are on Twitch, you guys can check it out there too as well. Again, www.youtube.com. Just type in ALWT Gaming, or at least we tried gaming. Or if you guys are on Twitch, www.twitch.tv/ALWT Gaming. You guys can actually see that it looks like new art designs and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. But yeah, and obviously there's definitely some there's still stuff in there that's like very there's still stuff in there that's just very like, again, fan servicey, because they have they have the little girl that works with Sadao Mao with the big breasts. And of course, they emphasize on that quite a bit. They do talk about Emilia and everything like that in her forms, which I'm very excited to see what this is going to be like, because it's looking really cool. And I can't wait for season 2, which has been long overdue. So there you guys have it, and of course you guys can watch more of stuff like that. But after those Hakana came out, you guys are gonna see some more editing too, because I'm going to go ahead and get that off the screen. But as you guys see more of this, the interviews was coming out that there's going to be more of this in like the upcoming years. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year, but it's going to definitely be one of those 2 years, because that's what they kind of confirmed on the show. Well, in the interview, I should say. That's kind of what they were referencing there. So I cannot wait. Cannot wait. So.
And again, this is actually probably another example of an anime that I'm gonna watch, and I'm probably gonna pick up the manga eventually too, because it's like and it sounds really dumb for me to say that, like just based off of a trailer. Like if I enjoy the show enough, I probably might, and I probably will pick up the manga as well. Because another thing is that like the manga right now is up to volume 16, and it's still going. I don't know how long.
Devil's a part-timer?
Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to be going on for, but they're up to 16 volumes right now. My people over at Bookwalker definitely like doing a really great job actually like keeping up with this, having this available for people to purchase. Dude, it's $7. It's $7.37 right now. Volume 1, $7.37. Come on, like you get that like just like forever, like
yeah.
And you get it like just right to your phone too. Again, not sponsored. Totally would love a sponsorship, but anyway, Like I'm telling you, dude. Like it is a slippery slope. Is what I'm telling you. It is a slippery slope. Like when you find a series that you really like, that you were really into, and especially like when you binge the anime. Like when you binge the anime and you're just like, I want more of this.
Mm-hmm.
Where can I get more? Like you're just like, is there a manga? I'm on it. Like give me all of the manga. Like right now, take my money. Just I need it. I need more manga. But this, like I said, this is absolutely a series that I personally slept on. I wasn't sure how I was gonna like it, and and it kind of like comes back to like finding a series that like I'm afraid to waste my time on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm kind of afraid to like sometimes like step out of my comfort zone because I'm like, oh, like what if it's really dumb? Like what if it's a series that like doesn't go anywhere? Like a series that like worst of all you're just like, that was all right, and then you just completely forget about it.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's something that like I've always been kind of like afraid to step out of my comfort zone with, especially with anime. To watch stuff like that I might not really, I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy or not. But like I always say, like all every time we do all day anime, just do something different. Try something new. Try like if you've never read a romance series, give a romance series a shot. Like there are some really good series out there that like will just get your heart racing, make you feel things. There are comedy series out there that will make you laugh. Like they will make you like snort, and you will sound really dumb, but they're funny. So like, definitely just do yourself a favor and check this out because I'm going to be checking this out. And honestly, like what, I'll probably check this out. I might actually talk about it a little bit next week.
Yeah, hey, I'm down. I'm down for it. I've been rewatching it again myself, like for the 1700th time.
There's actually another series I've been watching, which I'll actually talk to you about a little bit because I actually might have another hidden gem that we can talk about next week as well. Because so far, there's another series that I've been watching this week that has actually been really good. So stay tuned.
Okay, there you go. And of course, for anyone that is currently watching, again, this Saturday is going to be the new time for that. So 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to only give probably about a half an hour to an hour max. We're going to talk about the Mugen Train that's going to be happening this coming Thursday night. Of course, we definitely have some time to talk about the hidden gem that Gravity-Mark 2 has discovered that we'll be definitely discussing and going over there. As a reminder, if anyone is currently wanting to watch Devil is a Part-Timer, highly recommend it to watch it on Funimation because though it's on Netflix, they did have the dub, and then for a contractual agreement, they had to take the dub down. I don't know if they only had it for X amount of time. You can watch it if you don't mind watching sub, but yeah, that's what it is. It's only on sub on Netflix. However, on Funimation, they have both. So if you're definitely interested in reading, or if you're not interested in reading, I would highly suggest for you to get Funimation. And I know Sony actually currently has a deal right now to where if you're for like first time subscribers, you guys get 3 months for free. Like it's something along the lines like that. So you might as well look into that, check that out, see what that's about. I don't know if that has anything to do with the PlayStation, like you have to have a PlayStation Plus membership or anything like that. I haven't looked into the details, but 3 months for free. If it's free, it's for me. You know what I mean?
3 months, like that's not even like a week trial. Like like those week trials where you're just like, okay, like how much of this can I squeeze out of this in a week?
Mm-hmm.
How much of Funimation, like how much anime you could squeeze out of Funimation within 3 months?
Yeah,
is crazy. Like I've had Funimation for several years now, and I still have not squeezed nearly everything out of it. There's still so much that you could squeeze out of this in 3 months. So do yourself a favor, do that. I think it's only like $5 a month, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like $5-6 a month. Yeah, something like that.
It's like $5-6 a month. It's very affordable considering like the value that they have. So definitely go check them out.
100%. Last week I had asked you who was going to win in the fight between Escanor and Meliodas. We all agreed that was going to be Escanor, the one. But then I also followed up with asking about Ainz Ulgon or Saitama. And Ainz Ulgon is from Overlord, Saitama from One Punch Man. We had a full week to think about it. We had a full week to marinate on it. Looking into that, what is your answer, Gravity-Mark 2? Ainz Ulgon or Saitama?
you know what, this was something that you and I had talked about a little bit previously, where and again, One Punch Man is another series that I'm fully caught up on for the most part. They still haven't shown nearly like what Saitama's fully capable of.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't shown nearly the extent of what he's capable of, and he's incredibly durable. And he clearly can take people out in one punch. If it's not like a regular punch, it's a serious punch. He hasn't like had like anyone where he's had so far where he's actually given a serious punch and hasn't beaten them in one punch.
Well, the final boss,
And
it wasn't like a serious punch, but he had to beat him in 2 punches.
it was like the final boss, like he did say like, okay, like all right, I got this one serious punch, and he just got him right there.
Yeah, but that was the second punch. The first punch, he survived it.
Yeah, he survived. Yeah, he did survive the first punch, but like that wasn't a serious punch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It does, at least for me, like it just kind of comes back to the fact that I got right now. I'm gonna give it to Saitama, especially from Overlord. It's been quite a while since I've kind of seen it, so there's definitely some things that I've forgotten about Ainzul Gon, but I do know that he's incredibly powerful. I just every time I try to think of it, like anytime like I think of any matchup against Saitama, I just think of Saitama just being like, okay. Like I just picture him like just eating it, not taking it seriously, just being like, okay. Like it, and just kind of taking it out. But yeah, at the very least, like I'm gonna give it to Saitama right now, but I'm actually more curious as to what you think. Because I think you're a little bit more familiar with Ainzul Gon in terms of like what he's capable of.
Yeah, definitely. And shout out to Ohio as well for recommending that a while back. Actually, that was one of his. I mean, I've always heard about the anime, but I never actually sat down to watch it until he was so gun ho about it, and he absolutely loves Overlord, which is a fantastic anime, by the way. It's hard for me to actually say, and I say that because Ainz did come from a world that was an MMORPG to where there were other people that were like ranked the same as he was, and then the world shuts down and he's into a whole brand new world, and he's always on his guard, but then like he's thinking like, okay, they're gonna bring out this top 7 level deity, and it comes out and he's just like, that's a gerbil. Like you guys are that's your guys' god of the king of the forest is a gerbil, and he's just like, to them there's so much power behind that king of the forest and stuff like that, but for him he's just like, all right, pet, you're done. Like that's how it is for him. so like his power scaling in this new world is completely broken. It's just like again on this the opposite spectrum where Saitama, his power spectrum in his world is broken after he's done all this training. He was already strong, and we talked about that off stream too as well. He was already strong, and it still almost died, but he ended up beating that very first crab by just ripping out his eye, and he's dead. But then he trained so hard that his hair fell out, and then now anything that he comes across, he just beats it in one punch. So it's kind of like where they both started, I would give it to Ainz. Where they're currently at, I have no idea. Just because that's how they both started. They both started, like, Warren Ainz was already strong because he has developed to be that area when we were first introduced to him, versus Saitama, who's already strong naturally, very similar to Itadori, but he didn't have any training. He wasn't invincible. He wasn't at that point of, like, pure sheer strength. Like, yeah, he was strong, but now he's one punch because he trained to get to that point. So if we were to take both of those from the beginning to their origin story to where they're at now, where they're at now, I have no idea who would actually be. At the beginning, I would give it to Ainz. So yeah, I really don't know. If I really had to say, I don't know. I don't know.
It got quiet there. I was
I was thinking about both scenarios. I was thinking about both scenarios just now, but just like, well, yeah, of course, again, the world that shows that Saitama's in, he's punching and killing everything in one punch. But then again, for what Ainz is at, like, he's cautious. He's not just going to take a hit to the face or whatever like that. He's cautious. But then when when he realizes how insignificant those other his opposers are, it's just like, okay, I came from a world where everybody, like, there was people that was as strong as I was, and now I'm coming inside this world to where everybody's like ants. That's practically what is going on over. If I really, 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 really had to, and that's still kind of me, like, I still don't know, but if I really had to say if there's anything that would give One Punch an edge over Ainz, is that the fight with Shoutier that Ainz had to go through, it seemed like he was like, it was a battle, he put his life on the line, but how much on the line was it really? Because he ended up whooping Shoutier pretty easily towards the end of that. Like he played, like, from the very beginning, like he knew he was going to take some damage, and he completely calculated that entire, he Shikamaru'd it. He completely calculated that entire fight, and it felt perfectly to his whim. So I'm like, but again, that's coming from, he's going against somebody that also came from his same world. It's not like someone that was founded in that world. It's someone that came from that same world. So that kind of defeats the purpose of what I'm saying. I really couldn't answer that. I really don't know. But I can't answer that if we're talking about the origin where both the characters were introduced. Saitama wouldn't stand a chance against Ainz. Where they're currently at now, that's really up in the air. So yeah. So there you have it. We're not going to have a celebrity deathmatch this coming Saturday, mainly because, again, all Mugen Train. We are very excited about that this coming Thursday. We're going to talk about that. We're going to see what goodies has to come from that. And who knows, we might talk about other stuff too as well. But ultimately, that's what primarily this Saturday episode is going to be about. So if you do not want to see any spoilers about Demon Slayer, make sure you guys are checking the episode after you watch Mugen Train. Or if it's going to be some time before you watch the Mugen Train, or you don't care about spoilers, go ahead and join us live, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch, Facebook, and Instagram, or Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. And be on the lookout on Instagram for any upcoming dates, as this tomorrow is going to be 9 to 5, our Sin segment with TBF Abyss and Mildew Care as they go through Halo. As Tuesday is going to be our All Things Gaming with the ALWT Gaming Cast. So we're giving you guys gaming news and everything like that. By the way, we had a pretty good discussion this past Tuesday for Final Fantasy VII Remake discussion with me, LSB Live, and Gravity-Mark 2. And then, of course, this Thursday is going to be Smite Night as we're fighting through that and trying to, it's pretty much us against the world of high-res developers, all that good stuff. And then, of course, Saturday night, which is our all-day anime. New time, new date. Excited for that. And that's all we got. That's all we have. Anything?
What you wrote?
Yeah, anything you got before you got to head on over to the new big boy job and all that?
Like I always say, peace, love, and anime. Try something new. Just spice up your life a little bit. Like, do something new, especially during these times where there's not a whole lot that we can do, just because a lot of things are shut down or restricted or just kind of, harder to do than they used to be. Just try something new. Like, try picking up an instrument. To try doing something new. I actually picked up, which again I haven't really used it too much, but I picked up a kalimba. Mm-hmm. You know what that is? No. You know what a kalimba is?
No.
So a kalimba is this thing, and it's just kind of like a musical instrument that you can just kind of like pluck.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of like make music with. Yeah. Like, it's just super cool. It's super chill. Like, I would love to learn how to play it at some point, but it's just a really pretty instrument. And it's just like, just do something new, spice up your life a little bit. Like, try something new. Even if you don't actually get too much out of it, like, you get some sort of experience from it. Also, one more thing about the Mugen Train. If you have the ability to go see it, please do yourself a favor and go see it. Like, especially with anime movies, especially this big, they don't get as much love in the US as they do in Japan. Japan will have these movies in their theaters for months at a time, whereas the US is like, we'll give you a weekend. Mm-hmm. Like, we'll give you 4 days. So if you don't catch it in theaters now, you probably won't ever be able to catch it in theaters ever again. So, so if you want to see it on the big screen, if you want to have that as an experience, if you've never actually seen an anime movie in a theater before, do yourself a favor. try to find a theater near you. Try to get some time off. Go watch it. It is a heck of a time, and if you have friends that enjoy anime just as much as you do, bring them with you. All go together. It is a heck of an experience, and it is something that you do not want to miss out on.
Yeah, most certainly. Most certainly. I remember, actually, and I'll let you go after this. I had my first... all right, so I've been watching anime inside theaters for some time now. Of course, we saw Revival of F in theaters. We saw both of the My Hero Academia movie in theaters. I've been seeing it. And, of course, if you guys are at OSU on campus, they have a theater called Gateway, which actually specializes in showing off animes and stuff like that continuously. So that's always a good thing. But there was one anime in particular, and I think I was maybe a little rude, if you will, but I did not care. What it was is that everyone knows me knows I love Sword Art Online. All right, I love it. It is my top anime.
Love it, man.
Yeah, it's my top anime period. It's my top anime period, and. Mm-hmm. By the time I got done with, because I was late to the series. I was late to the entire party. I watched. My wife was actually in the hospital, and I was at home actually cleaning up for her to get back out and everything like that. Her mom was with her, long story and everything like that. Obviously, everything's good now, which is great. But she was in the hospital, so I got home and I was cleaning up, and I wanted to make sure that that the house was tidied up, but I didn't want to just sit in silence. So I put on Sword Art Online, let it play in the background. I've tried a couple times to get into it, couldn't get into it, and I just wrote it off. I was letting it play in the background, and then when it got to like episode 7, as I was cleaning, that's when it grabbed my attention. And I was like, oh, this is pretty good, actually. This is actually pretty interesting. And then it just started elevating from there, and then like at that point, I was invested. Absolutely loved it. And I was recommended by a few of my other buddies to start up Sword Art Online, but they said when you get to the guns, just stop, because then it stops getting good. And I was like, all right. But I was so invested at that time period that I watched the guns, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to keep going, because I saw the first couple episodes and I saw what they were talking about. It felt very dry. And I was like, I'm going to keep going because I like the anime so much of the first season. I want to see where this goes, how it ends, and see if it really was a terrible decision. Nope. Greatest decision in my life to keep going, because when I got to about episode 7, 8, that's when, again, it picked up, stayed up. It was amazing. I love the Mother's Rosario. That was a great art. I love the Excalibur series. That was great.
That arc makes me cry every single time I watch it. The Mother's Rosario arc, and I'll say this. I have my reservations about Sword Art Online. I can get very, very, very picky with Sword Art Online. I can tear that series apart, especially some of the more recent seasons, and just pick apart all the things that I just wish they would have changed. But overall, I have to say this: whenever the next season comes out, I'm going to be watching it. That's kind of what this series is like at this point for me. I'm I have my reservations for it. There are definitely things I wish they would have changed, they would have dropped, they would have done differently. But all in all, this series has kind of created a space in my heart where I'm just you know what, I'm invested in this series. I'm invested in the story. Even though there are times where I'm why did they do that? Why did they write it like this? They really could have done it differently. And maybe the light novel is different. Maybe the light novel is actually really good. And maybe just the maybe decisions that they choose to do with the anime adaptation might be a little bit different, but it's got a special place in my heart too. So that because they even said with the end of this last season, Sword Art Online will return.
Yeah, and
whenever it does,
that did kind of shock me too. But ultimately though, and just like how you were with Final Fantasy, to where you finally played through it and you beat it, but you were late to the party, so now your wait is not as long for the next thing to come out. It's the same way for me. So by the time I got done with season 2, because it goes Aincrad, then they go inside Alfheim, then they go inside GGO, then they go back inside Alfheim, and that's a whole another scenario. If you guys haven't seen it or Sword Art Online, you guys might want to definitely check it out. But then then they announced that a movie was going to be coming out, which is Ordinal Scale. I tried to watch it on the first go around, sold out everywhere, couldn't do it. The second go around, sold out everywhere. I was like, all right. Third go around, I'm making sure I'm getting there. Third go around was in Cleveland. I drove to Cleveland to go see that movie. And that was a fantastic movie, best movie I've ever seen as far as the anime goes for me. And again, it's a personal thing of why it's a great anime for me. And in the first like 10 minutes, this girl next to me was trying to she was talking to me every couple seconds, asking me about certain characters. I was like, did you not watch the season? She's like, no, I just wanted to come in here and talk anime with somebody. I was like, all right, I mean, I get that. But this is not the time for that. Yeah, like for me, I'm trying to pay attention. Yeah, I want to make sure.
This is not the time nor the place.
Yeah,
I had
the one, or the one. Yeah, you chose the wrong one to speak with that. Like, if anything, I'll talk anime with you after the show, but I will not. I was like, I drove 3.5 hours to come watch this. You're not interrupting me, and she was quiet the whole time. I felt a little bad, but at the same time, no. No, I spent money to come out there and watch it. I spent gas to come out there and watch it. It ain't happening on my... And it's Sword Art Online. Not happening on my watch. Thank you. Good night. So... But yeah. That's my little... That's my little spiel as far as like whenever you go inside a movie theater to watch it. Make sure you guys go out with some friends that you do enjoy watching it with, but also that you guys are respectful of the audience there, because some people might be watching for the first time and want to get invested in that. That's why I have a full expectation when we go see Mugen Train, and best believe if there's people talking up in that theater, we're going to have some words. They can talk with me.
Some popcorn at the back of their head.
Yeah. Shut up!
Shut up! Try to watch Tanjiro.
Yeah.
He's on a train.
Exactly. But guys, that actually does it here for us on our last Sunday for the time being of All Day Anime. Pilot for Saturday nights is going to be happening this Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be on the lookout for all that. We're here at twitch.tv /ALWT Gaming on YouTube. Just type in At Least We Try Gaming or ALWT Gaming, and Facebook ALWT Gaming. We also have a group there. In case you guys did not know that, you guys can also follow the group, the whole nine, support us, all that. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, make sure you guys are checking out our website at least we try, our ALWTgaming.com, www.alwtgaming.com. Easy to find. Their schedules are set up there. You guys can also get merchandise if you go to the About Us section, type on the merchandise page, get yourself a nice little hoodie, get yourself a nice little shirt, a little mug, or even a face mask, the whole nine. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Until next time, everybody, Control, Alt,
Complete.
Peace.